welcome everyone. Welcome to another Astral interview. And Dale, you're going to have to help me with your last name. Can you pronounce your last name for me?
Yeah, sure. It's Kobialko.
Kobialko. I'll remember that. It's not so bad, actually.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So, how are you today?
Polish Ukrainian.
Awesome.
Yeah,
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for being with us and really honored to have you join us. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Tell them about your childhood, where you grew up, a little bit about your past.
Well, I was born in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Cool.
But my dad was in the military, so we did a lot of traveling all over the world. And so I got to experience different cultures, different ways of life in different parts of the world. And I was a little bit of a shy kid growing up and kept to myself and, really closed in, had a shell around me. And, that started changing when I started doing my massage work after I graduated from high school and I got into massage therapy. And then I started experiencing a lot of profound otherworldly things is the best way to say it. And it wasn't actually me going searching for this stuff on my own because I'm a sort of a science guy. I went to college and university and I wanted to be a dentist. And
So much for that.
yeah, so much for that, and dentists actually have the highest suicide rates. So it's good it didn't go that route. But things happen for a reason, and I understand now why they happened as they did. And yeah, it was just all these different things started crossing.
Tell us a little bit about these experiences and what happened, to give the audience a better idea of what you experienced and what it led to and why you changed your view of being a dentist versus what you do now.
Yeah, sure. So, from the simplest things of, intuitive stuff where I would have stuff coming to me and telling me to do this or that, I wouldn't do it. And then later realize that I should have done it because it was always right. Now, when you look at the physical aspect of things, I would, be working with someone, a client, and I would see things like mist around them. And then all of a sudden I would see mist forming on their body, or I would see something spinning on their body, like tornadoes spinning on their body with my physical eyes. I would see it with my eyes and not even realizing that I'm actually looking at a real chakra with my eyes, right?
Wow.
I started playing around with those a little bit and interacting with the chakras and, and then.
So at what point did you gain the understanding that they were chakras or that they were energy wheels or what you were actually experiencing?
Yeah. I kind of did some my own research and found out how you can interact with the chakras and the sensations you feel with them. And so I started interacting with them on my own with other individuals who were open to working with me and allowing for me to interact with them. And, and the more I interact with them, the more that I could feel an expansiveness happening with me. It was like almost as if peeling away layers of an onion, like veils were being lifted from me. As soon as I delved feet first, into, exploring something of the unknown, not knowing what to expect, it was like an expansiveness just started happening and it's still expanding to this day. And, it was just amazing. And a lot of the stuff that I did, I was drawn to go into nature and interact with nature because it was an internal thing where it said, be one with nature and learn from nature,
Right.
So I did a lot of that. I went into and did a lot of meditating and nature, working with the environment.
Right.
like one of the first things I learned how to do is make clouds disappear. That's so easy to do. And when people say, how easy is it? It's simple, but it's and just interacting with animals and the trees and that you can learn a lot of things, right?
Right. So when you experience these chakras and you start to see these wheels, how did you start to relate what they were for, and what was your experience interacting with them, like in the interaction itself?
Yeah, like some individuals, I remember one client, um, she was, feeling really down and out and sad and depressed. And, I could kind of see these chakras on her that were kind of depleted, and they were like colorless. There was like a dullness to them, and it looked like they were kind of blocked. And, I remember her saying, I just feel like getting a hug, so I gave her a hug. And at that moment I gave her a hug, woof, my energy just got depleted big time. It was like I just transferred all of my energy over to her, and I was totally exhausted in that moment, you know. And again, it's just learning the whole process of energy and how you transfer energy from one person to another, and how you build up your own energy. This all came about during that whole period of time.
So basically it was trial and error. It wasn't like you read anything, or did you take a course or?
Nope. I learned a lot of from people like Stuart Wilde. He was one
Right.
of, yeah, yeah. He I learned a lot from a lot of his work. And then I studied um, Barbara Brennan's books.
Mhm.
She's great, and it's just about, you got to get to the point where you've got to stop the reading and the studying, and then you got to get to the doing. That's the key thing, right? You could study for months and be afraid to do this or that. Fear just prevents you from accessing that true reservoir that's in you.
Right.
And so the key thing that I guess to impart to everybody is just start doing, and there's no right or wrong way to do. Even if a book tells you to do it this way and you do
Right.
it, you don't experience what the book says, it doesn't matter. Keep going, because you may be experiencing something above and beyond what the book tells you, right?
Yeah. And everybody's different, right? And
Yeah,
everyone's experience is different, and the form that you experience things is different as well. So
yeah, most.
okay, so tell us then, so how did you go from um experiencing these things to becoming someone who worked with clients? What happened there? How did that transition happen?
Yeah, and again, it was something that I didn't push on my own. It just, people started coming to me for needing this work or that work done. And I first of all started with massage therapy, but then clients would be contacting me and saying, do you do, by the way, do you do energy healing, or do you know of anybody that does energy healing? And I said, well, I was dabbling in it, and well, I'd like you to try it on me, and it was more and more people crossing my path that got me to push my boundaries and what I
Right.
could do with that. And yeah, and it happened like
Evolved.
wildfire, right? It
Right.
just spread from the word of mouth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. And so, okay, so tell us about the most profound thing you've learned from your working with clients or working with yourself and understanding the technology and the spiritual technology, I guess is a good way to put it. And tell us about your profound experiences, the ones that really, wow you.
Yeah. Um, so I guess the most important thing to share with people is about empowering yourself versus giving that power away, because you know that's the key thing. The world and the system, how it was all set up, was all about giving the power away to government, giving your power away to this system, giving your power away to that system, versus you empowering yourself and using that to be self-responsible and running your own life based on what you're told inside you, so
Right.
that's the key thing, right? And you know yeah, which experience has been most profound for me? I've had many, from lying in my bed and pushing the boundaries to suddenly transforming into just particles of light and just
Wow.
being particles floating around there. And it first started as a Kundalini awakening, where I could feel it was like um, something moving up and down my spine. And then boom, instantly I was just like particles of light just flowing around there. And it was the awareness I had, I could see these particles of light moving around. And that was me, and
Right.
and then after that experience was a couple minutes, and then boom, I was back into the body form, and I actually burnt my tongue. It was the first time.
Oh,
Yeah, so like when you start playing around with energy like this, you know there's certain techniques and certain methods that you need to look at, where you got to have like your tongue touching the roof of your mouth, so that
mhm.
you actually allow for that circuit to move through you properly. Because yeah, after that experience, I actually did burn my tongue, and I didn't know what happened at that moment,
Right.
but and then from experiences to having other worldly experiences, because I've had not just the personal experiences, but I've had other experiences with other entities and other beings,
Okay.
both good and bad. And that's a necessary part of this journey, because once you start accessing those different levels, um, they'll come to you, because that's a part of your growth in your journey, where you start working with these other um, you know amazing beings, um, to help facilitate your journey moving forward, right?
So tell us about these beings and tell us about who you met and what your experience was, how old you were. Um, Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of experiences with lost time,
Yeah,
and
I've had
um,
experience.
experiences where there's been a craft outside of my home, and then these beings leaving the craft, coming into my home. And then I remember I've had interactions with various different ones, but these ones were at the time were little tiny guys. And I remember them saying to me, "Are you ready to go?" And it was just all telepathically, with the mind, right? And I knew they were coming beforehand, because I could see it on the wall. It was they always let me know ahead of time with this imprint that they show on the wall. And after that experience, I was left with a mark on my wrist, which I still have, and it's
Right.
basically a way for them. And I actually tried to remove it too. I can't remove it. It comes back. So and then from that to beings that actually try to scare you, like, so to speak. But um, whether it's good beings or so-called evil ones, they're all working with source. They're all working um, you know, in a way to kind of push you, right? Whether it's with good intentions or it's with fear. Fear also motivated me throughout this whole process too, because a big thing that I learned was studying how the ancients and the Aboriginals work. They brought their young up in caves in the dark,
Right.
in
Right.
darkness, right? And that's one of the secrets, is darkness. But we're conditioned as a culture to be afraid of the darkness, right?
Right.
Don't go into the dark. But in
Yeah.
actuality, when you do and you start working with the dark, it's incredible. It's there is an energy to it, right? And so a big thing with me was getting into that component of working with, getting over my fears and working with the dark. And as a result of that, coming in contact with different entities that
Mhm.
or fearful, so to speak. In doing so and working with through those different elements, I'm not afraid anymore. You know,
Right.
and those beings that used to come to me to instill fear in me, they don't come to me anymore. You know,
Right.
because they know that I'm fearless now, right?
You've surpassed the fear.
Yeah, you're sort of past that. So, you know, anything that crosses your path, whether good or bad, rather than get into the fear mode, question it. Why? You know, and then you'll be shown why. That's the key thing, right?
Right. Somebody once told me not to ask the question why, because when you ask the question why, you get answered to that question why.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in very various ways. So there'll be real ways, and if it's something that you feel is going to scare you, not to ask the question why. So
Yeah. And the main thing is your gauge is when you ask something like the question why is not to work with the head, but work with the heart
the
here.
heart, yeah.
You know, if it's in your head, it's the wrong thing. If you feel it in here and it's an innate knowing that you ask the question why and then boom, the answer instantly right there, right here, then you know it's what you should be doing, right?
Right. So tell us now, what advice do you have for people who are living in this time? We've talked about it sort of off the cuff every now and then, but not necessarily in detail. But like a lot of people are in fear right now, and we're talking about fear. So, what advice do you have for those people?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is if you can't handle the fear, step out of that for the time being, because that fear can actually shift your vibration, your frequency in your physical body to a state that's not conducive for your health. You know,
Right,
I know of lots of people around me who've gotten into the fear mode, and it's actually been detrimental for their health. They've gone downhill with their health, you know, whether it's becoming depressed,
yeah,
anxiety,
yeah,
uh, various things going on with their physical body, and it all started with the fear, right?
right,
So, you know, if you're drawn into the news and the media, and the news and the media really scares you, turn it off. Do something else. Go listen to some music. Go walk in nature. Go um, draw something. Find out something that excites you, and do that to keep yourself busy in this time, because there's no way around the time that we're in. This is
yeah,
necessary to happen in order for us to get to a better frequency, to a better vibration for
right,
all of mankind, for all of humanity, you know. But
right.
unfortunately, we have to wade through this swamp, so to speak, is how I call it. And, you know, I guess that's the best way to
Yeah,
put it,
I
right?
agree with you. I agree with you. So you've done massage therapy. You've been certified in massage therapy, and then you do Reiki or energy healing as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So I do something called heart resonance. And
Okay, familiar
um,
with it. Yeah.
yeah, heart resonance was developed by a Buddhist monk in Australia who was a Reiki master, and his lama told him that he needed to do something else in life, to develop something, and
Right.
heart resonance was what it, you know, he
Came
developed.
up.
Yeah, you know, and I innately knew right away that I was supposed to teach it. I contacted them in Australia, and I said, you know, I've got to teach this. And they said, okay, well, we'll see. Because they don't have, not everybody can be a teacher. That's the key thing, right? So there's been a lot of students of mine for heart resonance who wanted to teach it, but they're not ready yet, you know.
Right.
So yeah, and so, you know, I went down that route, and yeah, it was the most magnificent experience and journey of my life, and I still do it. And whether in person or long distance, it works both ways, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So your experiences when you're working with someone with massage therapy, do you feel your intuition has grown working physically with people?
Yeah, most definitely. So how I describe it with massage therapy is I'm plugging into their energy field as soon as I begin the massage. And as soon as I plug into their energy field, I I know I know stuff about them instantly, stuff even that they don't even tell me, you know.
Right.
It's like plugging a cord into the wall socket
Yeah.
in your home, and instantly it's like they'll share stuff with me on maybe their case history form that they filled out, but then I'll start saying this or that and they said, yeah, that's, I forgot to add that, how do you know, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, and it just, you're in that field all the time doing that, and then you actually start growing, and it tests you and pushes you in ways that it allows you to lead up to something like energy healing, heart resonance, you know?
Right. So talk a little bit about heart resonance now. What exactly is heart resonance? If someone was to come to you and wanted a heart resonance session, how would you work with them?
Yeah, so basically it's working with the heart on the physical level and also on the non-physical level, and in ways that you're allow for that particular energy and flow to move through you to the client, and sometimes not just to the client but also to their way of life and to their being, you know.
Right.
um, because a lot of the aspects that and things that happen with a client isn't just physical, it's tied in with their everyday life, right? So as a result of working with someone with heart resonance, you can bring shift not just to their physical body but shift to their whole life in general, right? That's to
Right.
keep with that, right? And
Right.
you know, it's a wonderful thing because you know, it also empowers them to start looking at things in a different way too, right?
Right. Right. And so when you're working with them and emotions flow, I'm sure, um, either for you or for them, and you get that knowing, do you communicate it to them, or or it's just your own experience that you're experiencing?
Yeah, I've had the emotion thing with massage therapy and also with the energy healing, you know, with massage. You know, I remember multiple times working on big muscular bodybuilder guys, right? Where I massage them and they're big macho guys. And, you know, after I massage them, I said, well, how do you guys feel? And they said, like, they almost burst into tears and they say,
Aw.
I feel like I want to give you a hug, you know? And it's because they're holding up all of their emotions in their physicality of their body because they don't want to share it. But when you get a massage and you start interacting with someone like myself, who's an energy healer, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
I release those emotions in them to allow for that to flow from them. Um,
Right.
and then, yeah, you know, when emotions come up, whether I'm working on someone one-on-one, face-to-face, or the individual is in the United States, um, yeah, most definitely I share with them the
What
aspect
you
of what's going on with the healing, you know.
Right. So you do distance healing as well, it looks like.
Yeah, most definitely. And throughout a lot of my long distance work, I've been showing different and new techniques above and beyond the heart resonance that I do, that work amazingly well. You know, like I'll be
Right.
doing a session and then I'll be in the session, I'll be showing things and I'll start using those, you know, those techniques during the session. And yeah, I've got a few different things that I work with too, you know, and I've got individuals all around that they know this happens with me, and they let me know. They say, you know, anytime you have anything you want to test out, let me know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically, while you're working on somebody, you communicate with spirit then,
Yeah.
and you get and in that communication, you are given ways to interact with the energy field.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So when I interact, it's not just me working on the individual. I have a whole team, and I also work with the individual's team too. I call it my team and their team, right? And a lot of times, as soon as I start talking face to face with the individual, um, the team is waiting there ready to get going. They're pushing on, they're saying, let's get going. You know, they want to start helping this individual out. And so it's just about communicating with, whether you want to call it my guides, my angels, their guides, their angels, any other
Right.
beings of love, light, and tone that are working with the client, that are working with me. And then we collaborate together, working on the individual, you know.
Right.
And a lot of times those beings, even though the session will be done and over, they still stay with the individual for however long that they need to stay with them. You know, maybe
Right.
they're going through a tough time with depression or something like that, and these wonderful beings need to stay with that individual longer beyond my time with them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, so how do you see these beings, or how do you see these groups, or do you see them in your mind's eye, or do you actually physically see them, or how do you interact with them?
Yeah, sometimes I physically see, sometimes they're there and they don't want to show themselves.
It all
Some
depends.
What was that? Yeah,
It all
yeah, you know, and it's not like you don't want to go into something planning, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do, you just got to be in the moment, and be open to how things unfold in that moment, you know?
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, fascinating. So you've been doing this for how long?
Yeah, I've been doing it for, I guess,
At least 10 years.
yeah, at least 10 years, you know? And
Because when I knew you, yeah, it was about 10 years ago I last spoke to
yeah,
you.
yeah, I've been doing it for about 10 years. And you know, the world's changed since then. And I've got in, like I mentioned to you, I've got into something new again, which crossed my path because I got into an accident, and the accident actually led me to it. So it wasn't me searching for something new. It was an accident that led me to it. And, you know, like, I
Talk a
got,
little bit about your experience in your accident before you talk about what happened.
yeah, yeah. So with the accident, I was rear-ended. I got whiplash, and nothing was getting rid of this whiplash. So I tried the normal route: massage, physio, chiro, energy healing too, you
Yeah.
know. And it was just this phantom pain that was always there on my neck, not wanting to go away. And so I just started researching around the world and seeing if there's anything that can actually get rid of this whiplash. And then I started coming across people that are saying, yeah, this new energy medicine technology got rid of my whiplash, but it was great because it didn't just get rid of that. It got rid of my stress and my depression. It helped me relax. The stomach problem I had going on, it got rid of that too. You know, I was getting better sleep. I got more energy. You know, all these multiple things, which is awesome because I'm a therapist and I love helping
Hmm.
people out, you know? So,
Right.
um, so yeah, long story short, I found someone who actually was a medicine woman herself who had this. And she said to me, she said, yeah, you know, I do all this chakra and meridian work, but all I have to do is just lie down. I don't have to think, I don't have to do anything. My chakras get realigned, my meridians get cleaned out, um,
Yeah.
you know. And so yeah, and what it is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And you know, it kind of bridges the gap between the physical and the non-physical. So it works on your cells, it works on resetting the charge in your body, works on cleaning out the channels in your body so that everything continuously flows. But at the same time, like I said, it works on your chakras, your
Right.
meridians, and
Yeah.
yeah, all of that, right? So when I get people in who like I mentioned to you earlier, I'll get couples that come in where the wife will enjoy doing the energy healing work, but the husband will say, nah, I don't believe in that stuff. And then I'll tell him, well, lay on the PMF mat. He'll lay on it and he'll enjoy it. And he'll say, wow, that was an amazing experience. And I'll say, well, wasn't any different than your energy healing experience with me. It's just a different way of working
Yeah.
on your body, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So which PMF mat are you using?
Yeah. So I work with the Swiss Bionic one, the Omnium one,
Yeah,
2.0.
familiar with it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love for you to invest in the David Suida products and do a comparison and let me know what you think one of these
Yeah.
days.
Always open to doing anything. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So I've kind of exhausted my questions, but that was amazing. Like you shared a lot in there about your experiences and your experiences with clients. Tell us now, and to finalize, a little about how people find you and what you offer for clients, so that somebody watching this wants to know more about your services, can get a hold of you and reach you.
Yeah, sure. So I live in the Vancouver area. So if you wanted one-on-one work, I could do one-on-one work with you. Either you could come to me, or depending on your situation, I can come to you. If that works better and is better and more appropriate for you. If you're not in the local Vancouver area, I do the long distance thing. So you can just contact me and we could set something up in regards to that. I've also had where I work with other family members when I work on individuals. So if it's a family situation and the whole family wants to get involved, we can also make that happen too.
So what kind of things do you work on? Like when you say you work on, like what are people going to call you for? What kind of things are they going to call you for?
So for anything on the physical level, from maybe you've got some type of ailment in your physical body, from broken bone, you've got maybe something going on with your muscles or your tissue that's bothering you, to something going on with the mind, and your gut, your stomach, and a lot of this stuff has to do with just getting your life back on track. So if we need to look at your what you're doing in your everyday life, we can look at that in ways we can help get maybe your diet, what you're doing in your life to get it all back on track for you, right? And obviously the long distance thing would be energy healing. And if you're in person, it would be massage therapy,
Right.
and or the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And a lot of times I do a combination of both. So
Right.
where we do massage, because massage works from the outside in, PMF works from the inside out, so to speak. So you're breaking down the wall from both sides.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Um,
And I guess the
that's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of putting it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the honor of this communication and discussion. And so hopefully we'll be able to do this again and you can take us to another level next time.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dale.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.